We're going to carry on looking at revision today. Obviously, your memory end of topic test is Friday. Okay, so obviously it's going to be targeted towards that. But as I said before, the reason I've given you some lesson time to do revision is so that you learn the revision techniques as well, so that not only, obviously, you're going to directly apply it to the memory topic, but you can use this for all your other topics when it comes to, so obviously from next week, we're then going to start going back over the topics that we started the year with, approaches, research methods, and then I'll move on to the stuff that you looked at with Mr. Moffat. So the idea here is that you're getting skills that you can apply to your psychology topics as well as other subjects. And as I've said to you before, you're in a privileged position studying psychology because we study how the mind works. So you can use that information to apply that to your revision, or you should be at least. What were we looking at last lesson?
Is that revision techniques?
Yeah, revision techniques. What specifically? Mind maps. What was I saying about mind maps? How do they help? Why? Less detail is sometimes more. Excellent, yeah, because you're not going to remember paragraphs and paragraphs of text. Why do we want less? What are we hoping? How does that relate to what we know about memory? Trigger words, excellent. So you look at forgetting, don't you? And context and cues help you retrieve memory from your long-term store. Good. And then in the exam, you're going to try and remember the mind map, aren't you? What are you going to use to do that? How do we remember information? Yeah, but what? Excellent, visual spatial sketchpad. So, this is revision of the memory topic in itself, but you're also applying it to your own revision as well. Good. What I want to focus on a little bit today is actually what you need to do before that. Do you remember what I said you need to do before you start condensing this information down?
Well, you need to know it.
You need to know it, don't you? You need the information. So that's what we're going to focus on a bit today. And again, we're going to do this now for the memory topic, but hopefully you can do this for your other units and other subjects as well. So one of the best thing, or the best thing to look at when looking at, well, what do I actually need to know? It's the specification. Okay, so all in psychology and all your subjects, they'll have a specification. This is what the exam board send to schools, send to the textbook manufacturers to say, well, this is what the students need to know. So it's good for you to understand that. You can access this from the AQA website. Yeah, sometimes it can be a bit ambiguous. I can help you find it if you need to. But if you look there, that's quite thick. And actually it has in there stuff like, so hopefully you're aware that you will have some multiple choice questions, some kind of shorter answer questions, and then up to 60 marks for your essay. That's all in here as well. So you know that, and you don't need to worry about that bit. So the bit that this is most applicable to you is when it looks at the different units, okay? And it's got bullet points there, and it tells you what can be in those different units and in the different topics, okay? If it's not in here, they can't test you on it. That's the rule. Okay? So this is a really good place to start when looking at, well, what do I actually need to know? Luckily for you, though, in the textbook, the first page of every topic, they've pretty much copied and pasted the specification and put it in there. So actually, there's a quick reference for you guys there. So that's a good place to start. And you should be reading down those things and saying, right, do I know this information? So if I do that with the memory topic, the first bullet point there, the multi-store model of memory, sensory register, short-term memory, long-term memory, features of each store, coding, capacity and duration. We've done that. Brilliant. Next one, types of long-term memory, episodic, semantic, procedural. We've done that. Good. The working memory model, central executive, phonological loop, visual spatial sketchpad, and the episodic buffer, features of the model, coding and capacity. So we've looked at that. So you should be looking down these and saying, right, do I know it? And if you do, great. You might want to just quickly read over it. But if you read over something and you don't know it, that's where you should probably start your revision. You'd be thinking, what is this thing? So you need to do something to get that knowledge, don't you? So it's either going over the textbook, it's asking each other, someone will hopefully know it. If you're really stuck, then you can obviously make an appointment to meet me and Mr. Moffat. But obviously, yeah, you need that information. There are other ways of figuring out what you know and what you don't, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So multiple choice questions are a really good way of doing that. Okay, so I've set you a multiple choice quiz on Caboodle, so I'm going to ask you to log into that. And again, your score on that isn't necessarily that important. Obviously, I'd love you to all get 100%, but realistically, it's not going to happen. That doesn't matter. What it's about is identifying, right, where are the questions that I didn't get full marks on? And that's where you should focus your revision to begin with. Okay, so obviously, without the knowledge, you're not going to be able to revise properly. So that's what you should be focusing on. It's the first thing you should probably do with any topic, right? What do I know? What do I have to know? And what don't I know? Another thing for you to be aware of is if it's a bullet point, it can be a 16 marker. Okay, so that's something that's good to know as well. So actually, okay, you should know then, well, it talks here about types of long-term memory. That's the bullet point. And then under that, it says episodic semantic procedural. Well, you should know then, I'm not going to get a 60 marker just on procedural memory. Okay, because it's too specific. However, the bullet point is types of long-term memory. So you could get outline, evaluate, types of long-term memory. So this should help you as well start planning your 16 markers. Once you've done that, so I'm going to get you to do the Caboodle quiz now. Once you've done that, write down the sections that you don't get full marks on. So just do it to the best of your ability. Don't worry about checking your notes or asking other people. This is a really good learning tool. This is your chance to say, right, what do I know and what don't I? That's more important than getting the answers right on here. And then you can move back onto your revision, whatever it may be. So we were looking at the mind maps, weren't we, last lesson? As I say, I've got some here. You can do your own as well. Less is often more. I've got the AO1 here, so you can look at the evaluation. Or, well, the blank table there, and I've got the one filled in. But as I said, it's the act of condensing the information down that's more important than actually having the finished piece. Journey rather than the destination. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So if you log on to Caboodle, and you can start that multiple choice quiz, that should then tell you what you then need to focus on. And then the second half of today, you can then get back down to your revision.